This is my review of Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. Okay, so it turns out in this episode that Enya is actually a very powerful stand user. So the Joestar group's going through Pakistan, right? And they stop by in this small old town, but as they get close to the town, it starts to get even more foggy. And as they're on their way into the town, Jojo spots a dead dog impaled on the side of the road, but isn't entirely sure if that's what he saw, so he decides to just ignore it and move on. And also they've done this after dropping Anne off at the airport, after explaining the situation to her, and before they leave on their journey. So Anne is no longer with them. At which point they arrive at the town and note that the people are a little bit off. They don't seem to be all there. So Polnareff tries to talk to one of the guys sitting on a bench nearby and tries to find out where they can find a hotel, but it turns out the guy's been dead for a couple of minutes at the very least, and nobody seems to care or notice. And after attempting to get one of the locals to call the police, and after noticing that she's kind of rotting a little bit from the inside out, from the outside in, or something like that. Either way, she looks like she's dying slowly and painfully. The Joestar group begins to investigate what exactly is going on. So they begin to investigate that the fog looks a little bit creepy, and Polnareff even notes that one part of it actually looks like a face. At which point, we're revealed that they're completely oblivious to the fact that the entire fog is actually Enya's stand, a stand named Justice, which it should be noted has been warped and twisted in this case because Enya wants justice for her dead son, who was a murderer. And she herself is the literal right hand woman of Lord Dio. So she's kind of warped it in her mind that what she's doing is right, and her stand kind of exemplifies this a little bit. So when they realize that nobody is actually going to show up to investigate the body, they decide to investigate themselves and discover that it's actually full of strangely circular holes and there's no blood coming out of them. At which point, Joseph tries to hightail it out of there and tries to jump on the car, but then the car dematerializes and it turns into a fence, and he thinks he's starting to go crazy and tries to save himself from the fence, but then notes that the car is actually several miles away after the rest of the group points it out to him, and he stops freaking out. At which point, Enya herself reveals herself to them, having wrapped up her other right hand in gauze, so that the rest of the Joestar group didn't notice that she had two right hands. And it does work, and also invites the entire Joestar group into her hotel that she presumably killed the occupants of and stole for herself, just so she can kill the Joestar group. But Jojo notes that she kind of slipped up a little bit and said Joestar, pointing out that nobody would be able to know that name unless they were stand user. But Enya plays it off as Polnareff saying it out loud without him realizing it, and that she kind of just picked up on it, which works. And then she gives the Joestar group their room. At which point, Whole Horse walks in, pointing out that he was brought in by Enya to try and kill the Joestar group, but she actually attacks him instead, pointing out that he abandoned Centerfold and doesn't really know the full story, and then attacks him and explains the power of her stand to him before he dies, pointing out that her ability works by absorbing the blood from a wound and then turning it into a hole with which the fog from her stand can go through and manipulate it like a marionette. So basically, she turns things into puppets. She turns people into puppets by making them bleed and stabbing them in random places. Case in point, she stabs him through the arm, and now his right arm is being manipulated by Justice. And he tries to summon his stand to defend himself, and it doesn't work. He immediately shoots himself in the face. But that's enough to get the Joestar group to investigate. And Polnareff, who had been looking for the bathroom because his room and apparently nobody else's had any bathrooms, he decided to go investigate for the communal bathroom that was apparently supposed to be a thing, and almost finds out about Enya's plot. So, and that's where the episode ends. So it should be known at this point that Enya hates the Joestar group and Polnareff in particular for killing her son. And understand justice is usually supposed to mean righteous. I don't know. It's supposed to mean that that you get revenge for something unjust. But the thing about her version of justice is that she's doing what she believes is just. So what she's doing is actually unjust, and she's actually trying to kill the Joestar group for killing her son, who again is a notorious serial killer. But yeah, she's trying to kill the Joestar group because she believes that what they did is wrong, when in actuality that's not even remotely close to what happened. They got actual justice for Polnareff's sister by killing Centerfold or Jay Guile or whatever you want to call him, and then attacks and is trying to lash out and control them like puppets so that they kill themselves or each other, one or the other. And then she also kills Whole Horse because in her mind he abandoned Jay Guile when Whole Horse was needed most, but in actuality Whole Horse was just found out that Centerfold was dead, and points out that he didn't abandon Jay Guile or Centerfold. I'm backflipping between the two because he has two localized names, but yeah. He points out that he didn't actually abandon Jay Guile, and that Jay Guile actually went off on his own to kill the Joestar group. And to be fair, that's exactly what happened. But Enya doesn't believe him and just kills him anyway. And it's an interesting little spin on the idea of what justice is. So in Enya's mind, what she's doing is right, but it's not actually what's right. She's doing what she believes Dio would like. And she believes that Dio is right, and Dio is in the right. So she's twisting the idea of what justice is for her stand, and that's actually an interesting concept for a character. And the stand in general, because it's completely changing what the meaning of the stand actually is. Justice is supposed to bring vengeance for people who have committed unjust crimes, but in the hands of Enya, the exact opposite is true. So yeah, it's an interesting little case study in that, and I like that because I actually did look up what the stand actually is before recording this, and yeah, it's a complete 180 from what the Justice Tarot card actually stands for, and that's kind of interesting to me. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents on this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. There's also a second part of this that I will review. But in the meantime, yeah, it's an interesting little case study into how the stand works and how it's been perverted by the stand user. It's interesting. But anyway, yeah, that's my idea of what this episode means. So yeah, it's interesting. But anyway, yeah, if you guys have indeed enjoyed this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, what did you guys think? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, or over on my Discord server, link in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also, check out my Patreon description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month, and it really helps me out, so I definitely appreciate it if you did that. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!